Tavis Marr owns a small honey company called Marr's Sweet Syrup. He specializes in producing completely natural, raw honey.
My name's Tavis Marr. I'm part owner with my brother of Marr's Sweet Syrup. We're a honey-based company, so we provide raw honey. Raw honey is basically the purest form of honey. It comes out of the hive, we put it through a filter, and we take out the wax for you, and then it's directly into the bottle. So there's no additives. The reason I get into beekeeping, we were actually sitting around a campfire at my camp that I just purchased, a 75-acre plot. And I was saying the berry trees and vegetables weren't doing very good because there was no pollination. And one of the guys basically looked at me and says, well, you're not going to do anything about it, so let's just move to the next topic. And in the morning after waking up, I called the local bee store and ordered 2 nucleus colonies of bees and decided to get in with a Jeep and pick them up. So that's basically how I get into beekeeping, was on a dare. So a lot of bigger chains will want their honey pasteurized to make it shelf stable, so it will not crystallize. Raw honey is meant to crystallize. Basically it's so they can keep it on the shelf for years and it stays the same look every time. So with raw honey, we have to keep it below 42 degrees to keep all the enzymes and everything good and healthy and functioning. Once everybody goes unpasteurized, they go above the 42 mark and it actually starts killing all the good enzymes in it. So you're not getting the benefits of pure raw honey. So with raw honey, you're going to get all the enzymes that are good for stomach health. You're going to get the natural sugars, and you're also going to get the local pollens from your area. If you get it from a local beekeeper, that will help with your allergy. We're really lucky because we have a lot of neighbors that are farmers, and they're just as happy to see the bees. It keeps their crops flowering and pollinating, so they have actually a lot better hay. So he'll harvest this field into hay, and then he'll leave it and he'll go harvest the other field maybe 3 weeks later. So we've always got a constant supply of food for the bees, which is really good for us, really good for him. As you can see around our bees, we leave all the berry bushes and flowers that we possibly can. This would be one of the little blossoms that the bees will come pollinate. Each one of those little stems, they'll actually take a little bit of pollen, they mix onto the other stems, and we'll have a whole crop of raspberry bushes here. We prefer to naturally feed, let them go to their flowers, their plants. And bees will fly up to 5 kilometers to find food, so there's loads of food around. Some of the other large industrial beekeepers will actually pre-feed with sugar waters and stuff like that. We don't like to do that because if you're adding extra sugar into your honey, it actually changes the flavor and the taste profile, and it's not pure raw honey anymore. You basically added an additive you don't need. The whole idea of a smoker is not to scare them, not do anything. What we're doing is mimicking a forest fire. So what it does is it tricks the bees into thinking fire's coming towards them, so they will go down, fill their stomachs full of honey in case they have to leave their hive to set up a new hive. Basically calms them down so that we can work in them comfortably. So as it's the first day of summer here, we're not harvesting yet, but as we do harvest, we'll go through the hives. We will pick out the honey frames versus the brood chamber frames. Brood chamber is where the eggs and babies are. So we'll pull the honey frames out, we'll take them to our extraction room. So what we do is take a little skim of wax on the outside, we put them into the big centrifugal machine. It's basically, they spin around at really high speeds, centrifugal force blows the honey out of the cells against the side walls of the machine, runs down and then runs out of a honey gate. At that point we have a filter. It catches all the wax and the pure raw honey goes into the bottles and out to the stores for sale. So the bee's life cycle is anywhere between 30 and 45 days here. They basically, from the second they're born to the second they die, they do not sleep, they do not take breaks. Our bees around here, it's usually about 17 days for a queen from the minute an egg's laid until she's hatched and ready to go to breed. Our workers are around 19 and our drones, which are our males, are right around 21 days. So for the worker bee, for her lifespan, which is between the 30 and 45 days, she'll make approximately a teaspoon of honey in her whole lifetime. In each one of our hives, if they're a single hive, usually between 15 and 20,000. The hives, once they get up to 3 or 4 boxes high, are usually anywhere between 50 and 60,000 bees. In the bee colony, there's the one queen that is the boss of the whole hive. All the workers are female, and there's probably 95% females in there, and then you've got about 5% male, and they're there just basically for the breeding and eating of honey. And in the winter, In the late fall, the hive will actually kick them all out to fend on their own, and unfortunately the males don't make the winter, and the queen will regenerate any males she will need in the spring. So with honeybees, they don't really want to sting anybody because they have basically a fish hook stinger. So once it goes in, it's attached to their intestine tract, so they die as soon as they sting. So honeybees rarely ever sting unless they feel threatened. Where difference is a wasp, he'll be flying away anywhere near you and just decide to come over and sting you for fun. They can sting you multiple times because their stingers do not break off. And so yeah, most people have never been stung by a honeybee. Around honeybees, they're gonna feed off your energy. So if you're really scared and you're running around, they're gonna take you as a predator and they're gonna do what it takes to protect their hives. So if you're calm, walking around, a lot of the bees won't even pay any attention to you. They don't want to sting you because they die as soon as they sting you, so they're out there just to protect their queen. My opinion on the depopulation of bees is everybody keeps a well-manicured lawn, so there's no natural flowers. We've changed our grasses over to more ornamental grasses that don't grow as high, don't put roots down, they don't flower. We've got farms that are doing monoculture only. Sad part is, in New Brunswick we also spray everything, so a lot of our natural woodlands and stuff have been clear cut, sprayed. Not a lot of the natural flowers come back. We're really lucky in the way that we're smaller. We run around 50 hives. A lot of the bigger industrial beekeepers are running 10,000 plus hives. So for them to figure out which hive exactly is sick is hard, so they will actually pre-medicate all their hives. So the biggest problem with basically medicating all your bees at all time, you're giving your healthy bees medication they don't need, and over time it's going to lose its strength and efficacy. The whole thing is, it's sort of like the NyQuil story. If you give your kid NyQuil every day, and then when they actually get sick, you have no idea why it's not working anymore. We don't like to pre-medicate. We would rather be able to easily identify which hive is not feeling well, and we will fix it as needed. Basically, starting a small business is always a big scare. You leave a really good paying job to basically follow your dreams and try to make it a living for yourself. It's great because we get to do what we love and supply great products to amazing customers.